I'm done being your ATM, Dad roared. Our lawyer will be calling you. All because, for years, I've been the family's safety net. Not in the warm, comforting way a net catches you when you fall, but in the cold, transactional way a bank vault holds money it doesn't care about. My name is Jackson, and for as long as I could remember, my life, my career, my finances, they all seemed to exist primarily to prop up the lives of my parents and my younger sister, Layla. Layla was the golden child. Charming, effortlessly popular, blessed with a never-ending stream of brilliant ideas that never seemed to pan out. And every time one of her ventures imploded, or she racked up another mountain of debt on credit cards I didn't even know she had. Guess who the first call went to? That's right, me. I remember the time she got involved in some high-end luxury goods reselling scheme online. Sounded glamorous, right? Turns out it was basically a pyramid scheme with extra steps and designer labels. She sank everything she had, then maxed out every card, then started taking out predatory short-term loans. The calls were frantic, the tears were real, at least the fear of consequences was. Dad was furious, Mom was weeping, wringing her hands, muttering about the family name. And I was instructed, not asked, to wire $50,000 to cover the most immediate, terrifying debts. $50,000. It was money I was saving for a down payment on my own place. Gone. Just like that. For Layla. Because that's what family does. I'd always told myself it was temporary. That eventually, Layla would grow up, or my parents would stop enabling her. But the pattern never changed. My work was demanding, my savings were healthy, and in their eyes, that just meant I had more to give. My apartment was modest, my car reliable but old. Their house, however, always perfectly maintained. Layla drove a car I co-signed for and paid the insurance on. Wore clothes she certainly didn't buy with money from any successful business. My friend, Ethan, had seen it for years. Jackson, you're not their son, he'd said to me over beers a few months ago. You're their retirement plan and Layla's ATM. You need to draw a line before there's nothing left of you. He told me to start documenting everything. Every transfer, every receipt for things I paid for, every text message, every phone call. I started doing it half-heartedly at first, feeling cynical and a little pathetic. I just saved screenshots and audio notes on my phone. Little did I know how crucial that advice would become. The breaking point came at Dad and Mom's anniversary party. It was a bigger affair than usual, lots of extended family, old friends of theirs. Dad was in rare form, loud and jovial. After dinner, he tapped his champagne glass. "Attention everyone," he boomed. The room quieted. "We have some wonderful news. Our Layla," he beamed at her, and Layla gave a practiced, dazzling smile, "is launching her very own lifestyle brand. It's going to be huge." A smattering of applause. And to really get it off the ground, Layla needs a little family support. My son, Jackson, is going to be helping her secure the necessary funding. My stomach plummeted. He didn't say co-sign. He said, helping her secure the necessary funding. It was code, delivered like an announcement of my engagement. I felt everyone's eyes on me. Then Dad looked directly at me, his smile fixed but his eyes hard. "Jackson, come here, son." I walked toward them, my legs feeling stiff. Layla beamed at me, that same look she had right before asking for money. Mom gave me a fluttery, expectant smile. "Jackson," Dad said, putting a heavy hand on my shoulder, "Layla needs you to co-sign the loan. $500,000. For the brand. It's just a formality, really. With your credit, it's a done deal. $500,000. My head spun. For a lifestyle brand. Layla couldn't even manage her own electric bill. This wasn't a business. It was a fantasy she wanted to fund with my future. The audacity, the sheer, unadulterated expectation. Years of resentment, of ignored sacrifices, of being treated like a resource, boiled up. Ethan's voice echoed in my head, "Draw a line." I took a deep breath. My voice was quiet, but the microphone Dad had used for his speech was still on, amplifying it slightly. "No," I said. The smile slid off Dad's face. Mom gasped. Layla's mouth fell open. "No," Dad repeated, his voice low and dangerous. "No," I said, louder this time, looking him in the eye. I cannot co-sign a $500,000 loan for a venture that has no solid business plan and is, frankly, more likely to fail than succeed. I won't risk my financial security, my future for this. Silence hung heavy in the room. Forks paused midair. Conversations died. Every single person was staring. Then the storm hit. Dad's face turned a dangerous shade of red. "How dare you?" he roared, pulling his hand off my shoulder as if I were diseased. "After everything we've done for you. This is family, Jackson. Family supports each other. Is it?" I countered, my voice still calm, though my hand were trembling. "Because for years, family support has only flowed one way." Layla burst into a fresh wave of loud, theatrical tears. "He hates me," she wailed, turning to Mom. "He's always hated me. He wants to see me fail." Mom rushed to her side, shooting me a look of pure betrayal. "Jackson, please," she whispered, her voice thick with fake tears. "She's your sister. How can you be so cruel?" Cruel? I thought about the 50 grand for the pyramid scheme, the car payments, the mortgage payments on their house that I covered every single month, the emergency cash transfers for Layla's endless problems. Cruel is asking me to potentially ruin myself financially for this, I said, gesturing towards Layla, "after everything I've already given." Dad leaned in, his voice a low, furious snarl that the microphone thankfully didn't pick up this time. "You ungrateful brat. You're done. You're cut off. Don't expect another dime from us." I almost laughed. "Cut me off," I echoed, my voice ringing with disbelief. "You've taken everything you could for years." Then Dad stepped back, his voice returning to a booming volume for the room to hear. "Fine, if that's how you want it. Consider yourself no longer part of this family. Vacation is off. And believe me, Jackson, you will be hearing from our lawyer." He thought that was the mic drop moment. He thought I would cower, apologize, beg forgiveness, and sign the paper. But seeing their faces, hearing the finality in Dad's voice, realizing they were willing to throw me away over a $500,000 gamble, it solidified everything. The line wasn't just drawn, it was a chasm. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I simply nodded, not in agreement, but in acknowledgement. A cold, hard resolve settled over me. "Understood," I said quietly. I turned, walked calmly through the stunned crowd, and left the party. As I drove away, the weight of years of obligation began to lift, replaced by a fierce, quiet determination. They wanted a war. They just declared one on the wrong person. The next morning was eerily quiet for about 15 minutes. I was sipping coffee, looking out the window, when my phone started vibrating on the counter. Dad's number. I let it ring. 10 seconds later, Mom. Then Layla. Then Dad again. The calls came in waves, relentless. I declined them all. Then the text started. Furious, rambling, contradictory. "Call us now," followed by "How could you?" Followed by "This is a huge misunderstanding. We can fix this." At 7:30 a.m., my work email lit up. A message from Mom. Subject, "What have you done?" The body was desperate, full of exclamation points. "Jackson, please. This is insane. Your father is beside himself. We can't access anything. Please, just tell us what you did. Call us. Fix this. Fix this." That was always the answer, wasn't it? My role. The designated fixer. I closed the email without replying. An hour later, Layla's email arrived. Subject, "You ruined everything. Jackson, I can't get to any of the money. The bank is saying the accounts are restricted. My investors are asking questions. The brand is dead before it even started because of you. I hate you." I took another sip of coffee. Her investors? Likely other gullible people Layla had charmed into her fantasy world. Good. Let them see the reality. Dad's communication was more direct. A text at 9 a.m. Undo whatever you did immediately. This is not a game. You have no idea the consequences you're facing. I smiled faintly. Oh, I had a pretty good idea. Because I wasn't just ignoring them. I was actively dismantling their world. While they were freaking out, I was on my laptop, initiating the process to remove my name from the mortgage on their house. A mortgage I'd been solely paying for the last 7 years, even though their names were still on the title. I also contacted the utility companies. The electricity, water, internet, All were still in my name from when I first started helping out with bills years ago. I requested service disconnection in 30 days unless a new account holder took over. And I called the bank about the car loan I co-signed for Layla. I explained the situation, provided documentation of non-payment from Layla, and initiated the repossession process. They were surprisingly efficient. By noon, the family group chat was a chaotic mess. Accusations, please blame. Layla throwing tantrums, he's a monster. Dad threatening retribution, he'll regret this. Mom trying to play peacemaker while clearly siding against me. Jackson, please just talk to us. Don't destroy your family. It was a perfect illustration of their dynamic, stripped bare. I watched it all unfold without typing a single word. The banging started just after 3 p.m. 3 hard, insistent knocks that rattled the door frame. I didn't need to look through the peephole. I knew it was them. I took a deep breath, straightened my shirt, and opened the door. There they were. Dad's face was purple with rage, veins bulging in his neck. Mom's eyes were red and puffy, fresh tears streaming down her face. Layla stood behind them, mascara smudged, looking furious and panicked. Jackson, what have you done? Dad roared, pushing past me into my living room without an invitation. Mom shuffled in behind him, wringing her hands, her eyes silently pleading. Layla stormed in last, arms crossed, radiating fury. I just stopped being your ATM, I said, closing the door firmly behind them. ATM, Layla shrieked. You ruined everything. That money was for my brand. That money, I said, my voice cold and level, was my financial future that you expected to gamble away. There's a difference. We are family, Dad bellowed, slamming his fist on my coffee table. The glass top vibrated. Family doesn't do this to each other. I couldn't help it. A short, sharp laugh escaped me. Family, I repeated. You three have taken from me for years. You've manipulated me, guilt-tripped me, and treated me like an endless resource. The minute I say no, I'm not family. That's rich, Dad. Mom stepped forward hesitantly. Jackson, please. Just fix this. It's a misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding, Mom, I said, looking her directly in the eye. I understand perfectly. I was never your son. I was your insurance policy. I was Layla's bailout fund. I was your safety net. Layla stomped her foot. Stop being so dramatic. I'm your sister. A sister, I retorted, who has cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars and countless sleepless nights. A father who saw my success only as an opportunity for himself. A mother whose only words to me involved guilt or asking for money. That's not a family, Layla. That's a collection of people who use me. Dad's face was pale under the rage. He stepped closer, his breath smelling of desperation and maybe alcohol. You have one chance, boy. Undo it. Now, or you'll face consequences you can't even imagine. I didn't flinch. I met his glare, leaning in slightly. Or what, Dad? I whispered. You'll threaten me? Take more from me? What's left to take? My savings? My sanity? My self-respect? You already tried to take my future. Not anymore. I pulled out my phone. You want to know what I did? I opened my banking app, showing them the screen that clearly indicated the halt of transfers to accounts they relied on. I stopped giving you money. Every single cent. Layla's eyes widened in horror. But the bills, the house. Ah, yes. The house, I said, walking over to my desk drawer. I pulled out a folder I had prepared. Let's talk about the house. And everything else. I pulled out the mortgage statements. See this name? Jackson. See these payments? Every single one for the last 7 years. Mine. You live in my house, Dad. I dropped them on the coffee table. Dad jaw clenched. You're lying. Am I? I pulled out more stacks of paper. Utility bills. Property tax records I'd covered. Credit card statements from Layla's failed schemes that I'd paid off. Records of cash transfers. Electricity, water, internet, property taxes, all me. Layla's business expenses? Paid by me. Her car repairs? Me. Her rent when she was between ventures? Also me. I dropped printouts of text messages. Layla's endless requests for just a little bit extra. Dad's demands disguised as family duty. Mom's passive-aggressive guilt trips. These recordings, I said, playing a snippet of Layla calling me an ATM, followed by Dad saying I owed them because he raised me. All of this. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Years of my life, my sweat, my sacrifice. Mom whimpered, covering her mouth. Jackson, please. No, please, Mom, I said, my voice resonating with finality. I'm done. Done being your safety net. Done being your ATM. Done being the one who cleans up the messes and pays the price. I have my own life to live, and from now on, I'm going to live it. Dad stepped forward, his face contorted with pure, raw anger. You ungrateful. We gave you everything. Ungrateful. I laughed, a sound devoid of humor. You took everything. You taught me that my value was measured in dollars and my loyalty by how much I was willing to lose for you. Well, lesson learned. I walked to the front door, opened it wide. Get out. They hesitated. For the first time, their bluster seemed to deflate slightly in the face of the undeniable evidence and my unwavering resolve. Dad's hand clenched into a fist at his side, but he didn't raise it. Maybe the scale of what I'd done, the sudden cutoff, the documentation, it finally hit them. Mom tried one last time, her voice pleading. Jackson, we can talk. Get out. I repeated, my voice like ice. They turned and walked out, shuffling rather than striding. Mom was openly sobbing. Layla muttered curses under her breath. Dad glared back at me, his face a mask of hatred and shock. Just before I closed the door, he snarled, You'll regret this. This isn't over. I closed the door, the sound echoing in the sudden silence of my apartment. I didn't feel triumphant, just exhausted. But he was right. It wasn't over. It was just beginning. I didn't waste any time. The moment the door clicked shut, I was back at my computer, compiling everything. Screenshots, payment records, audio files. I wasn't seeking sympathy. I was laying out the facts for the world to see. I crafted a post for a widely read online community known for sharing personal stories of family drama and financial abuse. A place where I knew my experience would resonate and be scrutinized, not just accepted at face value. The post was direct. I detailed the history of financial dependence, the expectation that I would fund Layla's reckless ventures, the scale of the final demand, $500,000 loan, my refusal, and their immediate, brutal reaction, disowning me, threatening legal action, and calling me an ATM. I attached the evidence. Anonymized screenshots of wire transfers for their mortgage and bills, Layla's desperate texts asking for money, Dad's demanding messages, short audio clips of them using manipulative language. I ended the post with a simple caption. This is what being the family ATM looks like when you finally try to close the account. I hit post. Then I made a cup of tea and watched. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Comments flooded in shock, support, shared stories, outrage directed at my family. The post went viral within hours, spreading across the platform and beyond. The family found out quickly. Their reaction was pure, unadulterated panic and rage. First, Mom went on Facebook, posting a vague, tearful status about being betrayed and not recognizing her own son, implying I was lying and trying to hurt them unfairly. It was a classic guilt trip performance for her friends. I screenshot her post, added a brief, factual reply in the comments with a link to my original post and a specific, undeniable screenshot of her asking me for money for a specific bill last month. Within 10 minutes, her post vanished. Then Layla tried. She posted a long, dramatic video on Instagram, mascara smudged, voice trembling, claiming I was a liar, a monster, destroying her life out of spite. She played the victim card hard, but I was ready. I took one of the most damning audio clips, Layla herself, laughing to someone else on the phone a year ago, saying, Jackson's just an ATM. He'll always pay. Dad will make him if he has to. I posted that clip as a comment on her video. The reaction was brutal. People immediately saw through her act. The comments turned vicious, calling her a manipulator and a fake. Within hours, Layla's entire Instagram profile disappeared. Deleted or made private, it didn't matter. Her public platform was gone. Dad was more direct. He had his lawyer send me a cease and desist letter. It was aggressive, accusing me of defamation, demanding I take down the posts, issue a public apology, and reinstate financial support. It was exactly what Mr. Thompson, my lawyer, had anticipated. I forwarded the letter. Mr. Thompson's response was swift and devastating. A polite but firm letter informing their lawyer that not only would I not comply, but I was prepared for any legal action. He stated clearly that I possessed extensive documentation, including financial records, written communications, and audio recordings that would be fully and publicly disclosed in the event of a lawsuit. He ended by suggesting they advise their clients to reconsider their course of action unless they wish for their financial affairs and personal behavior to become a matter of public record in open court. Silence. The legal threats stopped. While the online war raged, I continued dismantling their financial reliance. The utility company's confirmed service would be disconnected at their house next month unless they put in their name. Layla's car, the one I co-signed for, was repossessed 2 days after I initiated the process. She called me screaming, but I didn't pick up. Neighbors saw the tow truck, adding another layer of quiet humiliation. The consequences mounted. Within a week, I received an email from the bank handling the mortgage on their house. Since I had removed my name and stopped payments, and they had no means to cover it themselves, foreclosure proceedings had begun. Layla's lifestyle brand never launched. Her online presence was toxic, her reputation ruined before she even started. Dad's friends began distancing themselves. His standing in the community, built on an image of success and family values, crumbled as the story spread. I received hundreds of messages, strangers offering support, sharing their own stories of toxic families, validating my actions. For the first time in years, I didn't feel alone or crazy. Then came a call I didn't expect. My paternal grandfather, Dad's father, a quiet, reserved man who rarely interfered in family matters, though I suspected he saw more than he let on. He'd heard some version of events, seen the online fallout. He asked me to come visit him. I went the next day. Grandpa didn't waste time. He looked tired but resolute. "I've seen what's happening, Jackson," he said, his voice steady. "I've also seen what's been happening for years. Your father and mother, they were never good with money or responsibility when it came to you and Layla." He slid a legal document across the table. "This house they live in," he said, referring to the house I'd been paying the mortgage on, "it was never fully in their name. After seeing difficulties with your father's judgment years ago, I put in a trust. A family trust managed by me." My eyes widened. I had no idea. Dad always acted like it was his house. "They've lived there, yes," Grandpa continued, "but they never owned it outright. It was protected. I watched them use you, Jackson. For years. I watched them enable Layla. I saw how they treated you like an investment they expected infinite returns from." He sighed, a deep, weary sound. "I should have stepped in sooner, maybe, but I believe your father would change." He tapped the document. "I've changed the trust, Jackson. Effective immediately. The house, it's yours now. Outright. No conditions. It's not their safety net anymore. It's restitution. For everything they took." I stared at him, stunned into silence. The house, the symbol of their control, the thing I'd poured years of money into, was now legally mine. A week later, the legal notice arrived at my parents' house. 30 days to vacate. The phone calls and texts became pure, desperate wails. Mom was hysterical. "Jackson, you can't do this. We have nowhere to go. How can you throw your own family out?" Dad got on the phone, his voice shaking between rage and panic. "You've changed, Jackson. You're not the son I raised. This is your family." "No," I said, my voice calm, firm, and completely detached. "Family is supposed to support each other. You only supported yourselves with my money. Family is supposed to love unconditionally. You conditioned your love on my financial compliance. This is the result of the choices you made, Dad, not the son you raised. The safety net you created. They tried everything, calls, texts, even showing up at my workplace parking lot, until security escorted them away. I didn't answer. I didn't engage. I didn't watch as they packed up their lives and left the house that wasn't theirs. A month later, I stood in front of the empty house. Silent. Cleaned out. Mine. I walked through the rooms, the echoes of their arguments and demands replaced by the quiet hum of the refrigerator I would eventually fill. It needed work, renovation, to become my home, not just the house I paid for. But it was mine. My phone buzzed. A message notification. Layla. Just 2 words. I'm sorry. I looked at the message. I thought about the years, the money, the stress, the betrayal, the public spectacle, the final, devastating act of taking the house. Was I happy? Happier than I'd been in a long time. Free. I didn't open the message. I didn't reply. I turned off my phone, slipped it into my pocket, and walked out of the house, locking the door behind me. The sun was warm on my face. I had left the ashes of that life behind me. And for the first time, I felt truly, completely free.